Crikey, my loves, this new moon is an absolute freaking doozy. Let's just get straight into it because okay, my loves, welcome to my channel. I'm Crystal, the Crystalline Priestess, intuitive evolutionary astrologer and psychic tarot reader. Now, this Scorpio new moon is freaking insane, my loves. I mean, there's good stuff, but there's some freaking bad stuff too. Oh my god, let's get into it. So, the first thing that I'm going to draw all of our attention to is obviously we have the sun at 9 degrees of Scorpio. We have the moon at 9 degrees of Scorpio as well. Happy days, beautiful, lovely. But what is the ruler of Scorpio? It's Pluto. Hint, hint, it's Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is currently in Capricorn, and this is going to be his final new moon that he ever experiences in the sign of Capricorn. So essentially what I'm saying is that this is our last mother effing new moon with Pluto being in freaking Capricorn, and this moon is being disposited by its ruler. So that's crazy. At the same time, Pluto, who is disposited by Scorpio, is in opposition with Mars, who is also disposited by Scorpio. So my loves, if you are getting my drift, what I'm trying to say is this is hectic. This is really a very strong new moon. And usually it's full moons that pack more of the punch. But this new moon being the last new moon that we ever have, with Pluto being in Capricorn, and with this moon being the ruler of both Mars and Pluto, and with Pluto and Mars being in an opposition with each other, we are beefing on hardcore in every way that we could be in our lives. I'm sure that you guys are feeling this just as much as we are seeing this on the collective scale. This is a new moon that is absolutely massively potent and massively important when it comes to transformation and healing and us seeing clearly what it is that this whole Pluto and Capricorn transit has been trying to fucking get us to wake up about. You know, this grand trine that we have with Mercury in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees, and with Mars in Cancer at 29 degrees, that Mercury at 28. We have an amazing grand trine while we have this new moon that is really powerfully, with the point being Mercury in Scorpio. It's really feel like, and I say that because we have this new moon happening in the sign of Scorpio. I'm feeling as though this opportunity that we have to really go deep over this new moon is this healing moment. It is this time for us to finally deal with, especially with Mars and with Neptune being there, these repressed subconscious aspects of our lives that we have been literally trying to ignore this whole time. We have authenticity and we have health coming out. So it really is about us being authentic with what it is that we need at the moment. And I just saw 3:33 on the clock, and both of these cards are the most beautiful blue. We have success underneath that. Oh my god, and then look at the card underneath that. We have friendship. Look at all these colors. We are having the most beautiful teal blue rolling through for this new moon. So what that's telling me is that there is a lot of chaos on the external, but what are we doing with our internal waters? Scorpio is the internal waters. Scorpio is the deepest depths of the darkest ocean. It is essentially, you know, and even if you think about it, with that Mars, and Mars being the ruler of Scorpio, we can look at Scorpio as being boiling hot water, you know. And what do you kill a crab in, or how do people cook crabs? But they put live crabs in boiling hot Scorpio water. And so this Pluto opposition, while the sun and the moon are having this new moon and they're ruling this little dance that's happening between these two, this is like feeling like we really are, a lot of us are feeling like we're in hot water, we're boiling alive, you know. And some of us are gonna feel as we move into the rest of the week after this new moon that we really are being boiled alive. And so I feel as though this health, authenticity and friendship, this is asking us to open up to the parts of our lives that are actually healthy, instead of this constant obsession that we have with success. Because this Mars opposition with this Pluto, who's in Capricorn, who is about to finish being in Capricorn, and he's been there for the past 16 years, he's been there since 2008, and we are seeing where we have been And I spoke to this heaps in the Astro Tea Weekly I just filmed. Like, if you guys have not checked that out, go check that out, because I go even deeper into all of these energies, and I go into the rest of the week as well. And so we're really seeing at the moment where we're dealing with the repercussions of a toxic mentality that has told us we need to consistently strive and push and try and become the best of the best, and to reach the top of the mountain without actually nourishing ourselves. You know, these cards are all about nourishing your own personal life, and that's what Mars in Cancer is. It's nourishing your personal life. Mars in Cancer, the reason why it does not like to be in Cancer is because it's being forced to look at the self. It's being forced to deal with the emotions. It's being forced to pay attention to the way you feel, because the way you feel essentially ultimately impacts the way you show up, and the success in your career and the success in the world that you're able to actually, you know, receive and achieve. If you feel like a complete sack of shit and you're showing up to your life like a complete sack of shit, there's no way you can show up to this Pluto and Capricorn and try to portray yourself as something that you're not. You know what I mean? That's why that authenticity is here, because this new moon is showing us all authentically where we're at and why. You know, this end of Pluto Capricorn has got all of us, you know, and I love this, and I brought it up so much, I'm going to bring it up here again. I love the fact that this Diddy stuff is happening now, because it's showing us where all of this work that these people did to try and put themselves on a pedestal to reach the top of the mountain with this Pluto and Capricorn, the whole time, they have been pushing and pushing and pushing, and more and more and more and more success, more success, more success, to the point where it's become absolutely just, with that Mars in an opposition, you know, it's going to be in an opposition for the next 6 months. We're seeing where the effect that actually has physically had on, you know, people that not only have been a part of that, but the whole world as a collective, and the way that we were so indoctrinated into believing that those people were special, and believing that those people were, you know, we have glamour and beauty, and that came out for the last reading, and then we have fertility underneath that with peace. And so we've been like looking at these people thinking that they were the most beautiful people on the planet, you know, and they were the most, you know, if only we could be like them. How many of us have been brainwashed into wishing that we could be like them, only to get to this point with this Pluto and to go, holy crap, I would not give anything to be anything like those people. I am so in love with Pluto and Aquarius, with the common man. You know, I'm in love with the people who are just generally normal people who haven't sold their souls to the devil in order to reach a level of success that isn't even genuine. And so that's why I'm loving this transit, bringing all of this stuff up. And even with this new moon, there's probably a lot that's going to be coming up around that sort of stuff. I also, you know, we can't deny that the war stuff is going to be really amping up. It's really going to be getting stronger and just getting more and more crazy. But, you know, what can we do about that? It's very much just us having to focus on our personal lives at the moment. I think that's why I'm not even being called to really speak much on what's going on collectively, because we know it's going to be chaos. We know that it's going to be hard. We have this coffin sort of aspect that is, I look at this as a box, like, you know, as a coffin, laying something to rest, killing it off. And so that's what this moon is about. It's about killing off the parts of ourselves that were obsessed with showing up that in a way that was not authentic to ourselves. We have authenticity and friendship I like, because this feels as though it's about connecting with people who are genuinely our people who are genuinely the right people for us. You know, that Pluto and Capricorn is about how can I meet people that are going to make me look cool? How can I meet people that are going to expand my reputation and make me look better? This is essentially about us now being in an energy of looking for people to connect with because we genuinely connect with them with Pluto and Aquarius. It's not going to be about, oh, well, I'm going to be friends with you because you have a really amazing car, or I'm going to be friends with you because you're the CEO of that company and I think that's really cool and that makes me look cool, so I'm going to be your friend. This is about authenticity, integrity. You know, morals are really going to be coming up, especially with Venus being in an opposition here with Jupiter over this new moon, and it's going to be getting stronger as we build over the next few days, and then it's going to move into a really nice sextile actually with Chiron here in Aries. So we're really needing to heal the way we've been seeing our worth and heal the way we've been going about trying to get what it is that we want. I feel like I like this Venus in Sagittarius, even though it's in an opposition with Jupiter and Gemini in retrograde, that's detriment, because I feel like it's asking us to really do the hard work to see positive mindset, you know, to have a positive mindset. It's asking us to do the difficult stuff, which is to be happy and excited for the future, even though we don't have any idea what the fuck is going on. You know, this is I'm not saying that you need to bypass, and when I say being happy, I don't mean like being stupidly like, I'm just gonna be deliriously happy for no reason at all. I mean having a positive mindset about what it is that you're doing, and a positive mindset about maybe you haven't reached the top of the mountain yet. Good. You know, that Mars in Cancer in an opposition with Pluto was saying if you had to reach the top of the mountain, you wouldn't have been able to physically take care of yourself if you got there. You know, so it's not about getting to the top of the mountain if you can't take care of yourself when you get there. I speak to this all the time. If you're going to go hike up the Himalayas, you need a bloody Sherpa. You're not gonna just go with a backpack and just be like, oh, I'm an Aussie and I think that I can do this because I've imagined the fact that I fucking can with this Venus in Sag. I believe that I can, and so I must be able to do it. You know, no. When you get there, you're gonna realize that it's a bloody hectic hike. You need equipment, you need support, you need to have the right people, you need to have this shit figured out. You know, you need to know how to nourish yourself, because if you get halfway up that mountain and you realize that you've got no Sherpa, you've got no warm clothes, you've got no food, you've got no water, what's going to happen? You're going to die. You're going to freeze to death. So this is about needing to know what it is that you need in order to actually even get here. Because you're not going to get to the top of that mountain if you die halfway up because you were too excited to just get there with this Venus and Sag. I just want to get there. You know, it's no. No, you need to think long term. And this moon is in a loose, beautiful trine over with Saturn. And so it's asking for us to think about the long-term effects that being authentic to ourselves is going to actually have on our lives now. You know, it's needing to make the changes now. It's needing to honor yourself now. It's needing to give yourself what you need now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's not next month. It's now. We literally have, what, this new moon is on the 1st of November, so we literally have 19 more days after today of Pluto being left in Capricorn. This is the end, my friend. My only friend, the end. So, you know, really, really take stock and take note of how big this portion of your life feels, because it's true. The reason why it feels so big and weird and confusing and all these things is because because you are really on the precipice of a whole new life, and you are in between worlds, and you are feeling weird as shit. But if you remain honest, and if you may remain authentic to yourself and authentic to the people that you love and the people that you've always loved and the vibes that you've always loved. You know, this isn't about ditching everything that you've been building over the last 16 years. This is about taking what you have been building and learning to implement what works and what fucking didn't. You know? And I'm feeling really, really strong in this. Like, I don't like swearing too much because it gets flagged and people get all upset and stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to be more chill with my potty mouth. But when it comes through, it comes through. And when spirit speaks with intensity, I swear. So friendship says, bring to me friendship true, sharing laughter, understanding too. So this is very much this Scorpio energy, where Scorpio, we forget how much it really is about the other. Scorpio energy is like Libra, where it's a social sign. It is about other people, and it's about the depth that we really can build with other people. That's why it's intimacy. And so I feel as though with this new moon, it's about, we want intimate connections with people that we can genuinely fucking vibe with. You know, that Venus and Sagittarius, we want people that we can feel like we can have fun with, that we can explore with, that we can laugh with, play with. You know, Mercury in that amazing grand trine is trying to help us see clearly where we need to let ourselves actually have a moment. And when we can cry, when we can actually journal ourselves, you know, it's feeling like it's just really needing to get the emotions out in a healthy way that feels like it's releasing. And what I mean by that is, you know, journaling and swimming and dancing and doing physical things within your body, because we have that Mars. You know, it's about maybe cooking yourself a beautiful nourishing meal, or cooking a meal for a friend, or, you know, something like that, but doing intimate things. And whether this is going to be intimate with someone else or intimate with yourself, this is about needing to be intimate. And intimacy with yourself means listening to yourself, understanding yourself, knowing yourself. And intimacy with another person is that same thing with them. You know them, you understand them, you listen to them. It's deep, you know. And so this is a new moon that is asking us to go really, really deep. Authenticity. Who I truly am is good indeed. I am authentic in thought, word, and deed. So this is about being authentic with what it is that you are doing. And that's why this Pluto opposition with Mars, and we're going to have it for the next 6 months. Like I said, it's really intense, and it's speaking to the people who were not authentic, who were not in their integrity when they went to try and climb this mountain and to be perceived as this be all and end all, a great and mighty powerful thing. You know, it's about really having to be integral with your word and deed, the actions. It's not just word and deed, this is thought. I am authentic in thought, word and deed. So this is being, and what is Scorpio but purification? Purifying our thoughts, purifying our words, purifying the actions that we take, the things that we do. So it's, and you know, this Mercury, opposition with Uranus, opposition with Algol, needing to speak truthfully, needing to not lose the plot when somebody says something that offends you. It's needing to actually take time to digest it within yourself and go, is that for me? Is it not? Can I let it go, or am I going to hold on to it? Mars in Cancer wants to be the victim and wants to hold on to every little thing, when the reality is that that shell, that hard shell, is meant to be protection. It's not meant to be you hiding away inside of it and never having any life. You know what I mean? And so I feel as though a lot of us have been, and especially since 2020, and we had that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius at 0 degrees, and now we have this Pluto who is about to return officially forever. Well, not forever, but it's going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So he's officially going to be returning to this 0 degree point while we still have the Sun and Jupiter in a square, and it's not exact at all because Saturn's retrograde at 12 degrees and Jupiter's retrograde at 20 degrees. So there's a good 8 degree gap in there, but it's still sign by sign, and it's still there. And so we're still dealing with shit from 2020, and we're still dealing with realizing that maybe we've been inauthentic since then, or maybe we've realized we've been going for a goal that wasn't quite authentic to us because it wanted us to receive a level of recognition. Whatever that is going to be, it's going to be different for absolutely all of us, but we are all starting to really face the music. You know, we're really starting to face, I think, the reality of how insane the past 4 years really have been. The end of this Pluto and Capricorn has literally been crazy. And so, you know, Saturn being the ruler of this Pluto in Capricorn, and it literally having its final dash. This is our last new moon with the Saturn being in the ruler, with Saturn being the ruler of Pluto. Next it's going to be Uranus. So this is our last time, and Saturn's here at 12 degrees retrograde in Pisces, and is in this sort of building trine with the Sun and with the Moon. And so it really is about, and I'm getting a really itchy nose now as well, so I think that this is a very spiritual time. I think this is a very spiritual moment for us to be building for a future version of ourselves that we've, look, with this fertility, it feels as though we've been birthing the seeds, we've been planting the seeds for a long time, and what this new moon is it's the official planting. You know what I mean? I feel like what feels like to me is this, the end of Pluto Capricorn has been the planning of what the garden's gonna look like. You know what I mean? Are we going to have roses over there? Are we going to have tulips over there? Are we going to have a water feature over here? How do we want this garden to actually look when we present it to the world? And so I feel as though at this point, we're now ready to start actually, we've got the layout figured out. It's like, okay, well, this is what's going to go here, and this is the lifestyle, this is how I want to build. Now it's time to physically start planting those seeds in the ground and watering them so that they can start to grow. Friendship, oh, I already spoke to that. Fertility. Let all take root, seed, and sprout. Let new life be all about. So that's what this is. And a new moon is always about bringing new life. And thankfully, you know, we're kind of coming out of that last new moon that was in Libra, and that was sort of in that opposition that we'd had to that eclipse that was with Chiron, and it was just really, really ugly. You know, it was messy sort of stuff. And so I feel like now this new moon is about like this clear moment to start to, and I'm really seeing like the fertility, you know, this is planting the seeds for an abundant new reality that feels like it's abundant because it's actually aligned with our personal needs, with what we actually want and need in life. And it's not about this external societal expectation that you need to reach this level of success by this certain age, or you need to look a certain way or be a certain way, or any of these things in order to be worthy and all that sort of stuff. This is about finding peace. Bring goddess, Brigid, goddess, in your sacred name, a light within me, peace is flame. So it's about finding peace within yourself, because there is not peace in the external. You know, there is not peace in what's going on around us. There is not peace in the world, and for a lot of us, we're going through a lot of chaos within ourselves. And so that peace, especially with Lilith, who is moving into an opposition with Chiron as we have this new moon, Lilith is really going to be asking, trying, dragging for us to kind of like throw in the towel. I feel like I'm seeing a white flag, you know, I'm seeing a lot of us wanting to give up. And I feel as though this new moon is about not letting yourself give up. It's about finding peace through the chaos. And even though it's an ugly time, you know, that perseverance, and that's what Mars is, you know, and this opposition with Pluto and Capricorn, it's perseverance, and it's persevering through the emotional blowouts, and it's persevering through the heaviness. And that's the thing with Mars and Cancer as well, it's heavy. And that's the thing with this Pluto opposition, a lot of us could be feeling like we just don't have the energy that we had a few months ago, you know, we just don't have it in us anymore. And I feel like that Lilith opposition, that is what is really going to be having us wanting to, I keep hearing it, there will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and always will be. So I definitely think it's about being in love, you know, it's not about being in this ego, because that's what that Chiron is in Aries. It's this wounded ego, the wounded warrior. It's this ego that feels like it needs to grasp and clasp at everything it can in order to give more to me, more, more. And that's what Pluto and Capricorn is feed my ego, feed my ego through success, have more people recognize me for what it is that I am good at. And this Mars in Cancer is saying, but what about my personal life? What about how I actually feel? You know, very important. We have North Node, life's purpose, and solar eclipse revolution. And that's what this new moon is. It's a revolution within the soul. It is a soul purpose upgrade. And when I say upgrade, I feel like consciously, like we are seeing that we actually need to start really letting this shit go. We're at the end of this Pluto dragging our asses through this Capricornian dirt, like literally the dirt. It's been in an earth sign. We're about to move into Pluto in an air sign. So it's exciting, it's quick, it's moving, it's strange. There's lots of new energies, but it's not as grounded, and it's going to have us feeling a little bit weird. Obviously, I think anytime an outer planet moves into a new sign is going to be feeling weird and a bit different, but I think Pluto moving from like earth into air is really us going from this like deep need to physically have everything looking a certain way. It feels like once Pluto moves into air, there's just this level of flow or ungroundedness. And I think that we can't really even sit here and say like what we know Pluto and Aquarius is going to feel like, because we don't really know, because we've had touch-ins, but Pluto has kept moving back into Capricorn, and this is our final moment before he officially does hit this 0-degree Aquarius point, where we've already had Jupiter and Saturn make their conjunction, and we are just absolutely in the thick of the transformation process. And I feel like that is why when Pluto is officially in Aquarius for the next 20 years, humanity is going to undergo a complete transformation after just having that Pluto and Capricorn. And so I think that it's powerful with this angel and networker come out, and then we have the Messiah at the bottom of the deck. I think a lot of us are realizing that we're needing to step into our power in service, because humanity needs our service, you know, humanity needs us, the people need us, you know, in every aspect of life that looks like for you, people need you. The person on the street, the old lady, the, you know, person that served you at the cash register, everybody needs you, you know what I mean? Like, this is very much that energy of we all need to be caring about each other, because there is so much craziness and heaviness, and with this Pluto-Mars opposition, so much violence in the world, that we need to be there for each other. The angel archetype says helping those in need with no expectation of return. The shadow attribute is acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. And that's what I think that Mars opposition with that Pluto, we need to be truthful. That's what this authenticity is. You can't be, you know, somebody, even me, like look at me, I can't be a channeler, I can't be someone who is doing spiritual work if I'm not in my authenticity, if I'm not honest with myself, if I'm not looking at myself in the mirror every day and going, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like, this is very much this need to know when you actually are in the right energy and when you are just trying to you know, show up in a certain way because that's what's expected of you. It's very much about needing to help for the joy of helping. You know, this Messiah is serving humanity with humility. The shadow attribute is an exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. And so this is really, I think, this humbling moment, I think, for us all over this new moon, where we realize, you know what, I need to show up because humanity needs me, but at the same time, like, I can only show up to a certain extent, and if everybody wants me to show up as this version of me that doesn't feel right anymore, I can't keep playing that goddamn game. And if I'm going to actually be of service to the people around me and to be in love and to be caring for the people around me, you know, I have to actually give a shit about the way I feel. I have to actually give a shit about what I'm receiving as well and what I'm giving and all of these things. You know, we have the Don Juan, spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. So we're looking at, you know, this sensual, sexual energy where we have to embrace this knowing that, I think that that's what Scorpio is, you know, it's the taboo. We have to embrace this knowing that what feels a little taboo, what feels a little bit risque, what feels a little bit like no to the soul is usually what you kind of need to be paying attention to, because there is a restriction there. And I don't mean in a toxic way, you know, obviously you get the urge to want to kill someone, there's something fucking wrong with you. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about just, you know within your soul that you have something to do, that you have something to change, that you have something that needs to be brought forth, and you don't really know how to go about it. This is that moon that helps you see clarity. This is that moon that helps speak life into your dreams because of that grand trine with Neptune. We have Networker coming out, enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. The shadow attributes is conveys information only for personal gain and spreads fear and falsehood. There is a lot of fear and falsehood that is going to be spread everywhere at the moment. And so we are really having to be in our sovereignty, you know, and to be giving our message with empathy and awareness and love and compassion, because there are so many people who don't have that compassion at the moment. And I feel like this Scorpio energy, Scorpio, you know, I feel like people look at Scorpio as it's so hectic and it's such like a intense dark energy, but my best friend is a Scorpio and she is the most beautiful soul on the planet. Like, Scorpios are amazing because they are the sign of purification. And if you get a Scorpio in their higher light energy, you have a purified soul. You have true purification. Someone who has looked at their shadows and looked at their darkness and reached the light. You know, and so that's what this is. This is us sharing, you know, I really feel as though this new moon is like, can we start to share ourselves authentically? Because it actually helps us to make friends. You know, this is like if you're on social media and you've been for the past 16 years trying to portray yourself as having all your shit together. How about you actually finally do a post over this new moon that says, guys, I was kidding. No, not even that, but just like, hey guys, yes, I have all this amazing stuff going on, but here's also the truth. You know, this is what is really going on, and I don't want to keep painting myself as a picture of this when that's not my reality. This health card came out right at the beginning, and I haven't even looked at it until this point. It says, Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring me to your health and mine. And so this is us really having to focus on what feels healthy, spiritually healthy, especially with this trine over with Saturn, who's in Pisces, the last new moon, with Saturn being the ruler of Pluto. We're needing to do our spiritual work, and our spiritual health and our spiritual hygiene is absolutely, absolutely impeccably important over this moon, because, you know, that's the thing. Uranus, who has been on Algol's the demon star. We have this Pluto opposition with Mars. We're dealing with people who might, you know, get with the Five of Cups in reverse. Some people could lose the plot because they're in a really deep, dark place. They could lose the plot because they're in a sadness energy, they're in grief, there's completely nothing wrong with grief. There is absolutely nothing wrong with grief. Like, you literally need grief in life in order to be able to heal from really extreme and tragic circumstances, like literally. And so I feel as though, like, you know, grief is one of those words that can be so icky, because it's like, we know how big and gross it feels. We know how big and ugly it feels to actually mourn proper heartbreaking shit. And so this is that moon that is asking for us to mourn what hurts, to let it go without losing our shit, you know? And if you need to cry and you need to really get upset and you need to cry it all out and do your thing, maybe you need to punch a punching bag and really get crazy, do that. But it's about healthy releases of this energy. It's not about getting caught up in the reality of how volatile these emotions can actually show up, because what this is emotional volatility. And I think with this networker, you know, and this friendship sort of energy that we have coming out, we're really needing to be honest and to create connections with people through being authentic. You know, we don't connect with people unless we connect with a sense of vulnerability. You know what I mean? People don't even feel real unless they start to show you a level of vulnerability. Isn't it classic, that thing? Like, remember with celebrities, always it was like, oh my god, I can't believe how much he seems like us, or how nice he is, or how down to earth they seem. Because we put people on pedestals, we look at them externally and we go, oh, their life is perfect and everything's perfect because I'm flawed. When the reality is, this is all of us having to take a look in the mirror and go, wait a second, we're all fucking flawed. Oh my god. If we're all flawed, then that means that it's totally fine for me to like be who I am. Is that okay? And so it's self-acceptance. And it's accepting that your flaws are actually really what lead you to your greatest success, because those flaws are what you have to put the work on in. You know, peace, again, is at the bottom of the deck. So peace over this new moon. And it's going to be hard, because I don't think it's going to be... We have the Queen of Swords and we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. I was just going to say, I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing. I don't think it's going to be easy, and especially when it comes to communication and with our money and our resources and all these sorts of things and relationships, we're all feeling the heaviness of how intense the past few years have been. And like I said, that 2020, because we're going to have Pluto, who's going to reach that point again for the last time. This is our last new moon, Capricorn. And the sun and the moon are dispositing this moon and Mars opposition, and it's just insane. And so, you know, we're needing to listen to the voice of our soul. And with this Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles in reverse, it really feels as though we need to be discerning about whether we're just doing things for the money, whether we're doing things just to have the stability, just to have the resources. You know, Capricorn is very much about the stability, it's about the resources. All Earth signs are. They're about wanting to have the physical, tangible things. Smell, taste, touch, you know, they can feel it. And so this is about needing to cut out the mentality even that has you believing that you don't have a level of riches now and a level of abundance now. And that's with this Venus opposition with Jupiter, you know, Venus in Sag. We might have a lot going on when it comes to our resources. We might be having a lot of money going out over here and money coming in over here, but then it's going out over there, and then we've got this expense coming in over here. And the fact that we've had that Mercury opposition just prior to the new moon, so we've probably had some money stuff come up just before the new moon that was a little bit difficult. With this Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands in reverse, once again, it's about having confidence in your ability to create through what serves you. It's not about what's serving everybody else. It's not about what's serving everybody else's idea of success. It's about your idea of success. What is the Chariot to you? What is it that truly lights you up? Are you going to feed the wolf that tells you that all your worth is validation through the eyes of others? Or are you going to start actually taking action because it feels motherfucking so right in your soul that you can't deny it? You've got no choice, you know? I feel as though this Pluto opposition between Cancer and Capricorn is asking us to start to intuitively follow the voice of our soul when it comes to achievement. We can't just be trying to do everything physically all the time. We have the North Node in Aries at the moment. It's about to move into Pisces. We're about to have the North Node in Pisces for the next 18 months. This is the spiritual work. We are in the spiritual portal. We are in the spiritual work right now. We're in the shadow work. Get to it. You know, this new moon is all about that shadow. It's all about the emotional volatility, the issues that we have with our families, the issues that we have in our career, the issues that we have with our partner, the issues that we have with us not feeling like we can get enough done, and we're feeling, I'm hearing adrenal fatigue, and I've been hearing this a lot with this Mars in Cancer. So we're burned out, we're overstimulated, we've got too much going on. Artist, can we just sit down and let ourselves just actually express. This is what I like about this card, because it talks about expressing a dimension of life that others can't really see. And I feel like this new moon is about learning to express ourselves in ways that we weren't letting ourselves touch upon before. The light attribute is expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. The shadow attribute is using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. So this is no more pity, you know, that's what this Mars in Cancer can be. I want people to pity me because I've got so much going on emotionally and in my family that I can't show up for my business and my career and all this sort of stuff, you know. Stop making excuses. Your excuses are valid. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with them. What I am saying is that there's no point clinging to them because they're not going to make you feel better. What you need to be doing is learning to express yourself in a way to yourself and to the world around you that is actually going to be in harmony with how you want to be moving forward, because we've all been doing too much. We've all been working too hard, pushing too much. That's why we have Pluto ending in Capricorn with this Mars opposition. We are at the end, and I can't emphasize it enough, guys. This is our last ever Scorpio New Moon with Pluto and Capricorn. And I created some like little AI images, and look, I'm just using Canva. I'm not using the good shit, so this image it's nothing special. You could literally go on and do this yourself. But I just thought it would be kind of fun to maybe have a look at what I'm kind of trying to get across when it comes to the feeling about this moon. And so the first image that kind of came through was what I've been talking about with this passion that I have when it comes to watering the roots of your tree in order to have a healthy, abundant fruit that, you know, blossoms at the top of the tree, if you know what I mean. So we've got Cancer down here, we've got Capricorn up here, and we have this woman who is really starting to pay attention to the roots of this tree, and she's got this beautiful loyal companion, she's got this friend, she's got this spirit guide, she's got this essence, this voice that is telling her to do this thing, this voice that is telling her to water this tree, to water this plant. Yes, it might look dead. Yes, it's not covered, like, look at the sky, you know, it's dark, it's gloomy, we're dealing with uncomfortable feelings, we're dealing with scary feelings, you know, we're in Halloween season. Happy birthday, Scorpios. I meant to say that as well. But we're in this darkness, and so we can't deny that the darkness is there, but the more we water the roots of this tree, the more we start to tend to what it is that this tree needs, the more light we start to experience, the more joy that starts to come out, the more integrity that we start to embrace within ourselves, because we start to see physical evidence of God responding to us, of spirit actually responding to the effort that we're putting in to water our garden, to water ourselves, to nourish ourselves. I'm going to read it once again. Fertility. Let all take root, seed, and sprout. Let new life be all about. And that's what this image that I was trying to kind of get across is this is about new life. And even though the tree might look dead, there is all this color and all this beauty and all this radiance, and all you have to do is feed the bottom of the tree, you know? All you have to do is water the roots. It's not about trying to climb to the top of this tree and to try and water the roots of the tree at the top. No, that doesn't feed the tree. That literally, water that lands on the leaves does nothing. Literally nothing. The water has to be fed to the tree via the roots. It has to be through the emotions. It has to be fed through the inner world. You can't, like I keep saying, you cannot reach this success without health down here. And so that comes from the family, that comes from your emotions, that comes from to pay attention. It comes from you paying attention to your own needs. And that's what Cancer and Mars in Cancer is paying attention to your own needs. Now, these are all sort of similar images. I kind of just got a couple different ones and played around, but you know, it's all sort of the same thing. You know, we've got this one, she's got a mini tree over here, and the way I kind of looked at it was, you know, I feel like this is the tree that everybody told us that we should be watering. You know, this is the tree that everybody said, put all the time, put all the work, put all the effort into that tree, and you will receive what it is that you want to be receiving. And the reality is at this point that you are having this illumination moment, and this spirit, you know, God is here to say, how about you start actually watering this one? How about we stop watering the big tree that everybody's been telling us that we need to be watering, and that everybody else has this idea about, and that is all this be all and end all thing, and how about we start watering the tree that feels right for us? How about we start listening to ourselves? How about we start listening to this little voice that says, go to this tree? And instead of focusing on this big tree, how about we start focusing on the little tree that's right in front of us? So I loved that. I thought it was beautiful. And the thing I think is cool actually about AI, and I'm using this shit, and I got this idea off the Leo King, so it's not coming from me, but I thought it was brilliant. He uses AI as divination, and when I create these images, you know, I just put in a description of what is coming through. I sit there and I channel it. I put in my description, and then I let essentially AI come up with stuff, and then I tweak it and whatever. But I feel as though this is the divination. This is the images that we get is what Spirit's speaking. You know what I mean? Like this, I love this. And I feel as though this one in particular has this really sort of strange energy, and I said nothing in any of these pictures about water, and in this picture we have the reflection here of the tree, and so I feel as though this reflection is showing where the roots go further and further. The more you sort of tend to these roots, the further they go. It's like, just because you can't see it on the surface does not mean that it's not underneath. And so I feel as though this whole Pluto Capricorn transit has had us trying to get all this shit achieved on the surface without realizing that the real work was actually internal. The real work was actually on the inside, in, you know, everything that has ever been made manifest on this planet, in this reality, has come from somebody's internal. It's come from an idea, it's come from a thought, it's come from a feeling. And so this is that moment where we realize that the internal world is the magic, you know, Scorpio, the occult. It's the magic. The magic lies within the self. It lies in the intimacy that you have within you. And that's the opposition with Taurus. Taurus is very much the self, and Scorpio is very much, you know, deep relationships with others. But we cannot have one without the other. And so this is about understanding ourselves fundamentally from a way that asks us to be deeper, that asks us to go deeper, to not be so superficial, you know, to not be so keeping up with the Joneses, and to be so, this is what it looks like and this is how I want to show up and I just want to be this person because it looks cool on the outside, all that sort of stuff. This is about the internal world, and I cannot stop looking at how this looks like a spirit. I don't know how else to describe it. It's literally like this hanging down branch with this light in it, and it looks like a spirit. And see, in this picture we don't have the dog, but Spirit still came through with a guide. And that's why, you know, I really wanted to emphasize the importance, is it there? No. I wanted to emphasize the importance of this grand trine with Neptune, and, you know, with Mars also being, you know, so close to Neptune. This is us understanding that Spirit really does have our backs right now. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not doing this on our own. We have Spirit with us. And even though things look dark and scary and uncomfortable, and this isn't so much like a picture that's all like, ooh, I want to go hang out there. No, it's kind of scary. But that scariness is exactly, she doesn't look afraid. You know what I mean? Like, she's in this ugly, it's not even ugly, but it's more of a spooky vibe. But she doesn't look afraid. In fact, she's looking up to the roots. She's looking to the top of the tree, and she's seeing the light and the potential. That if she actually waters this, you know, if she actually pays attention to this foundation, she's going to reach the top of this tree. She's 100% guaranteed to. And she has so many guides that are here to, I'm even seeing these trees as like other entities, like guides. I'm seeing nature spirits. That's what this is. This is nature spirits. So my loves, be doing your nature spirits. You know, this is a new moon. Do your rituals. And I'm feeling like, obviously it's a water sign, but the opposition is Taurus. So we're dealing with Earth, and Pluto is in Earth. And so I'm feeling as though water and Earth, doing rituals around water and earth, maybe it's even planting a symbolic plant to symbolize this new chapter, really is going to help, because this is that magic moon, you know, Scorpio. It's about getting into the actual magic, and it's about doing the physical things and the rituals, you know what I mean? So very much this is that moon where it really is a powerful time for you to plant these new seeds on the roots of this beautiful new moon, of this beautiful new you, of this beautiful new version that you're finally ready to embrace, because you're actually ready to be your authentic self now. You're seeing the beauty in your own authenticity. You're seeing the beauty in who you are, being 100% you know, valuable. And this Nine of Pentacles, seeing the abundance and the respect that you actually receive when you actually sit inside the knowing of who you are. And it's not about showing up because somebody else told you to, it's showing up because it feels good for you. You know what I mean? And that's what Scorpio is. Scorpio does not chase, Scorpio attracts. So this last new moon that we have with Pluto and Capricorn, with that connection over with Saturn that's at 12 degrees, this is that time to realize that we are spiritually attracting the life that we truly want through how we're showing up to our physical vessels, how we're showing up to ourselves emotionally, spiritually, in every way. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, you know? So that's very much this message, this moon, of paying attention to the way you do everything, because it's showing you where you haven't been willing to give yourself the time, space, energy, all those things that you need. And this is really about giving yourself what you need and inviting magic back into your life, because that's really coming through at the end of this reading, is the magic of Scorpio, you know, the magic of transformation and how incredible it is to go from being one thing to another, you know? So we are alchemists at the moment, and allow yourself to alchemize through the darkness and to let this dark energy alchemize into source light and into inspiration and passion and all these things. And it's not forcing anything, it's allowing it to flow. And that's what this spiritual connection is. It's not forcing, but it's being in flow, especially when it comes to how you're taking care of yourself. You know, being in flow is absolutely going to be the best thing that you can do, because forcing anything at the moment is going to be really hard. And I also want to say, be careful around cars, all these sorts of things. Mars opposing Pluto, huge car accidents, huge issues with people going too fast, massive stuff happening, okay? So just be really, really careful. Don't go too fast, don't drive like an idiot, don't get in the car with anyone that drives like an idiot, all that sort of stuff. Just keep your wits about you and be careful. So my loves, this went way longer than it was meant to, but it's a massive new moon, and really I think that we had an awful lot to talk about, because this is the last ever new moon that we're going to have with Pluto and Capricorn. So there's never going to be another reading where we're talking about this being the last new moon. So this is it. I hope that you guys did enjoy it. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did, because it really does help my channel to reach other astro enthusiasts like me and yourself, as well as share this reading if you have anybody that you think would really benefit from maybe knowing about the craziness of the Scorpio new moon. It could definitely be beneficial, because this is very much one of those moons that is going to have people all over the show. So I would like to, what am I doing? I would like to thank your angels, your ancestors, your higher self, your spirit guides, all the beautiful benevolent beings that are surrounding you and I in all moments, for allowing me to receive and to deliver this message for you guys. If you want to book a personal tarot or astrology reading with me, you can do that down below through my link tree. Let me know if you have any suggestions as well in the comments for future videos and all that sort of stuff. Any suggestions for what you want to see, pick a cards, astro content, spiritual content, all that sort of stuff. I'd love to hear from you. I really, really appreciate you guys for still being here. Big love for you. Have an amazing Scorpio new moon, and I will catch you guys in Astro Tea Weekly. See you then. Peace.